Hey, how's it going? My name's Captain Paxo, and I'm back with another video. For those of you who don't know, today marks 1 year since I got the LEGO Lord of the Rings any% speedrun world record with a time of 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 52 seconds. And in this video, we're going to kind of, I guess, take a look back at that time. The way the run has evolved recently means that there won't be anything meaningful to be drawn out of just looking over the run itself, being like, yep, this happened, I did this strat. There isn't much you can gain from that. But I think what's more interesting and something that I kind of want to talk about-ish is what goes on behind the scenes, kind of my journey towards getting this time. Because if you look at the leaderboards, if you look on my YouTube channel, you might see some previous runs, but that doesn't tell the whole story. And this time of 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 44 seconds was quite a memorable one. I'd call it kind of the end of the first act of my speedrunning career, because it finishes what I set out to do at the very start. So I guess we need to have a look at the backstory a bit. In the background of this video, by the way, it's just going to be highlights of the run itself. I'm not going to reference it at any time, so you can watch it if you want, but otherwise you could treat this almost like a podcast, if you will. But yeah, let's look at the context. The context of this, I guess, I started my speedrunning career, in quotation marks, all the way back in early 2019. The game itself and its sister game LEGO The Hobbit had just been pulled from the Steam market. They went on a big sale, 75% off, ridiculously cheap, and then the store page was shut down. You could still access the game if you'd bought it already, but you weren't able to buy it anymore. Thankfully, I'd bought LEGO Lord of the Rings. I bought it in the winter sale that year, and over Christmas I 100% completed it. When it came around to January, February, big sale, then pulled from the Steam market. Some of my friends said to me, hey, we could try speedrunning this game, that would be a laugh. None of them actually ended up doing a run, apart from me. My first, I guess, run of this game was basically another casual playthrough, starting from a new file. I sat live, split up, and then went through the game. That took me about 5 hours and 41 minutes or something ridiculous. It was a long time. But again, I had no knowledge of any tricks. Absolutely nothing. I just wanted to do a run. So after I'd finished that run, looked on the leaderboards, and there was someone at the very top. Because of course, when you're just starting out, you have those dreams of like, oh yeah, I can be at the very top. I could be the best person at this game. But at the very top was someone called Thinks the Clown, with a time of 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 52 seconds. 3 and a bit hours quicker than my time. I looked at that and thought, wow, that's insane. How are you able to do that? Watched the run all the way through, tried to replicate some of the tricks, and I guess that's where I came across my first problem. Saruman skip. Saruman skip, if you don't know, it's about 1 in 50 on a good FPS. I did not have a good FPS at the time. I was on my bad PC, and yeah, I was never able to do Saruman skip on the bad PC. I tried, but I wasn't able to. I kind of left it there for a bit. The idea of me going for Thinks' run was kind of fallen by the wayside a bit, because if I'm not able to do the same tricks, then what's the point? So I looked a bit further down. Second place, a guy called TSG. They were a mod at the time. It said so, but that's all I knew. So that was my target, because TSG didn't do Saruman skip, did a lot safer strats, but I was using Thinks the Clown's video apart from for Saruman skip. And yeah, so I'd set my sights kind of on that top 2 position, getting that second place off of TSG. And then I did what, it's quite a habit for me, to be fair. I then moved on to something completely different. I actually didn't spend my time learning any percent. I spent all my time learning replay story. Why? Because replay story allows you to skip cutscenes. Simple as that. And the ability to skip cutscenes made the learning process a lot quicker, especially when you're just starting out at a game. Every single second you're in the game and learning the mechanics and not watching a cutscene is good time well spent. I think that's often overlooked. It's much easier now in LEGO games because of the no-cut cheat code, but it wasn't as such kind of back then. It was kind of you'd learn and prep for and do an any percent run, whereas I didn't do it that way. I learned through replay story. And yeah, I spent most of my time doing replay story, except one run. There's one run which I still have on my old PC. I think I saved the video and titled the video Why I Hate This Game, just on the PC, not on YouTube or anything. It was called Why I Hate This Game. And it takes me about 3 hours 20 to do a quote-unquote any percent run. And this was kind of midway through my replay story grind. 3 hours 20 is a lot. That's still an hour off the world record. Why was titled Why I Hate This Game? I softlocked in Palinor Fields, famous level for softlocking, I think twice. Something like that. Also, for some reason, I did not do Secret Stairs and Kirathongol skip, so I only skipped 3 levels rather than the whole 5. Anyway, I then pushed any percent to the side, didn't worry about it at all, pretty much. You know, it was a category, but my focus was replay story, completely replay story. So I got the replay story world record, and I think I got free play and maybe no major skips at the time as well, and then went back and had a look at any percent itself. And my first time on the leaderboards was actually from under 2 years ago, from the 22nd of September 2019, and it was a time of 2 hours 32 minutes and 53 seconds. Now, what did I think of this run? This run was well, I described it as a decent run with some major time saves. Going to look to improve this soon. And looking through the splits, yeah, there are some major time saves. I could definitely do a lot. I was struggling with mid-game at this point and stuff, but yeah, going forward, it was a run on the board. I wasn't streaming at this point. Everything was completely offline. I had joined the Discord beyond this, but that was the only interaction I had with the community. And if I remember correctly, when I uploaded that run, that was the first run, or one of the first runs that had been uploaded to speedrun.com for any percent solo in, I think, 7 or 8 months. It was quite a while, which is insane to think of now. It's also insane to think that when I started running this game, there were 10 runs on the board. Now there's 21, just on any percent original solo. The community's almost doubled in the 2 years that I've been in the game, which is really good going. But yeah, anyway, I got this 232 and I hadn't quite achieved my goal. Like I said, my goal was to beat TSG. I was 35 seconds off doing that. And then past TSG, the goal was sub 230. But yeah, I kept going with it. And we got to my next PB half a month later of 2 hours 30 minutes and 27 seconds. About a 2-minute PB. I was now second on the leaderboards. So I got the 230, but then 27 seconds off getting a sub 230, what do? Of course, I have a break for 7 months. I was kind of very unpredictable with this. This was very much my early days. I was still trying to find my feet with it. I didn't have the mindset or the kind of want to just sit down and grind. I still don't to a lot of extent. I'm probably going to talk about that at some other point, but I still don't have that mindset. Anyway, we got the sub 230 a whole 7 months later. It was my first run back, actually. It was a D-Rust run. And yeah, it's basically the same thing. It was a minute time save, but there wasn't many new strats. It was just being slightly better, slightly more confident with the mechanics. Obviously, one of those things that's so underrated. Like, it sounds so obvious, but at the same time, it's also really not. And then we go to the next PB, 2 hours 27 minutes and 4 seconds. This PB was actually only a few days later because I'm incredibly inconsistent. But it was a 2-minute and a bit time save. But most importantly, this run was done on my new PC and with Saruman skip. And Saruman skip was a big thing. because it saved about 2 minutes compared to the strats everyone else was doing at the moment. So that was basically where the time save between my old PB and current PB is or was. And then we get into the cool part. Now, I think I got this PB as I was warming up for the all TT games relay pre the Skywalker Saga that was done, I think it was May or June 2020. And I did both Lord of the Rings and Hobbit. I think I took a break from Lord of the Rings at this point to focus on Hobbit, and then came back just before the marathon. So I was warmed up for both, did the marathon, and then went back to Hobbit. Lego The Hobbit was a big grind for me. I didn't really focus on Lord of the Rings that much. And then for some reason, kind of September time, there was a new guy on the block. Their name's Dino. You've probably heard of them. They're also a mod for this game now. And I remember kind of sitting in school in physics lessons in particular, watching Dino's runs, kind of giving advice and that kind of stuff. Obviously now Dino's world record holder way better than me at the game, but at the time, still learning. But yeah, Dino was getting runs, getting closer. I think had the PB of a 2 hours, 28 minutes and 36 seconds, so just behind mine. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to go back to this game. Not saying it was completely because I didn't want to lose my spot, because it wasn't. I mean, me and Dino had a bit of a battle in replay story, but it was inevitable. Dino was better than me. However, I wanted to come back to any percent because there'd been new strats. I was also learning 1P2C for the first time, so controlling both characters with one me, really. And it took a while to learn that. I was learning that mostly in Hobbit, brought it across to Lord of the Rings through replay story again because it's quicker to implement, and then sat down and thought, you know what, I'm going to do an any percent run. And that any percent run ended up being a 2 hours, 24 minutes and 2 seconds. Big step forwards. And it was an average run. But what made this run really good or surprising for me was that it was 10 seconds off what I still regard as one of the greatest runs ever in this game. Thinks the Clown's was world record at the time, 2 hours, 23 minutes and 52 seconds. I was 10 seconds off that with this PB, which is ridiculous still to think about. But I was using so many strats that things didn't. I was using 1P2C. I think I was doing Zombie Skip and Black Rider instead of Saruman Skip. Zero studs. There was a lot of new things that that had been brought into the game that I was now using. Getting that close to Things to Clown was something I didn't expect would happen. This is the first time I realized, okay, it's actually real. I can take on this kind of run. I could maybe beat Thinks' run. I didn't realize that when I had or didn't think about that when I had a 227. Sure, I was thinking, yeah, it'd be nice, but I wasn't thinking, this is something I want to work for. This is something I want to get. So it was a very different mentality. At the time, I thought this is one of the worst PBs to run against because all my time save was in the early game. I think Caradras, I lost 2 minutes to my 2 minutes to my gold, something like that. Oh no, I lost 1 minute to my gold, and my gold can be improved by a minute at least. So it was really 2 minutes of time save there. As well as some other places. My early game really wasn't good. But then my late game, everything from Amon Hen, which is level 6, onwards, was really good. Like, it was better pace than Thinks' run. It was really close to pushing that time down. So, at the time, I thought, this is awful to run against because I'm going to get on pace and then just see that slowly slip away. But actually looking back now, I think I would not have got the world record that quickly if my splits were the other way round. So the big time save was at the end. Because the way I work for a lot of these things is if I'm behind by like 30 seconds, a minute, I tend to get really demoralized and almost tend to just give up, which is obviously not the attitude you want when you've got a big time save later on. Whereas this way round, I'm ahead, and I'm just fighting, really trying to fight to stay ahead. It brings out a lot more the fighter mentality in me, which is much better. It's what you want when you're trying to squeeze every single second out of a speedrun. 2:24:02, I think, really helped set me up for the next push, which was the next run. It was actually 2 days afterwards, this PB, The 2:24 was done on the 4th of September 2020. The next day, 5th of September 2020, I got the world record. What was the difference? Well, I saved time in Caradrus. Caradrus was a big weakness in my previous run. This time, coming out of Caradrus, minute 15 ahead. Massive difference. Kept that going through. And actually, when I came out the end of Moria, or Amon Hen, sorry, I was a minute 24 ahead, so I'd extended that lead with a gold. So I was really feeling good, but I knew that I would have to play perfect from here on out. All I needed was a 11-second PB, an 11-second PB, and I would have got world record. So that's exactly what I did. I lost some time in taming Golem, saved a bit in Dead Marshes, lost a lot in Osgiliath because I was still struggling with Osgiliath early and Osgiliath skip itself, which is even more difficult because you have to go half into a wall and walk down some stairs. But once I'd got that, I was 35 seconds ahead. 35 seconds, you're thinking that's barely doable. But of course, I was nervous as hell right now. And that showed. I lost another 9 seconds in Paths of the Dead. Lost a couple more in Pelennor. Pellennor's basically an auto-scroller. For the entire thing, it's just boss fights. Losing a couple of seconds there shows my nerves. Because that's normally you wouldn't lose time. Even nowadays in runs, you wouldn't lose time in Pelennor. If you've lost time in Pelennor, you've done something wrong. Rather than just better, like, gameplay, I guess. And then Blackgate, playing Blackgate the old way, actually managed to get a gold. And that gold was probably the best thing for me. This was being streamed live on Twitch. And I think I had people in chat at this point. Once I'd got past Blackgate, the second to last level, they didn't tell me what pace I was on. The problem is I'm not able to see my splits while I stream or while I play because I've got a single monitor and the game takes up full screen. If you try and go in windowed mode with the game, it messes up FPS. So I didn't know. I thought I was on an okay pace. I felt I'd made some mistakes in Pelennor, which I had, that was true. I felt Blackgate was okay, which was also true. But I didn't completely know where I was. I just had to keep hoping and praying that I was on pace. But so now, went into the final level, and the final level, oh my, I was so stressed for this final level. I think it went pretty smoothly. There were some mistakes. I had no time save though. My previous PB, the final level, was a gold. So I had to really send it in this level. And that's kind of what I did. I lost some time. I missed some of the jumps on the climb, if I remember correctly. But we managed to close it out. The golem fight was good for the standard back in those days. Nowadays, it's actually losing a lot of time or losing some time because I'm not doing some things like turning VSync on. VSync was off for this. There's new strats here. But yeah, we managed to close it out, which still feels ridiculous. I think watching the end cutscene and then the auto-scroller was painful because I'd done all that I can at this point. But if I tab out the game freezes, so I can't actually see what pace I'm on. So I just had to hope and pray all the way through this auto-scroller that I'd made it. Yeah, managed to get to the end of the auto-scroller with a time of 2:23:44. Wild. Honestly, it's wild. Just looking back, I'm kind of looking back at it now as I'm recording this. It just feels so weird that I was able to get that. Really cool as well, though, to be able to say that you've beaten what is the single, or pretty much the best run that ever has been and ever will be for this game. Not in terms of pace, but just in terms of optimization, how clean everything was, how close to the theoretical limit this Thinx's run was. I don't think anyone will be able to replicate that again, and I can say that I was the first person to actually beat that time. That's something I'll never take or never forget. That's going to stay with me. I said at the start that this is what I describe as the end of the first act of my speedrunning career. And I still completely agree with that. The reason for that is my goal at the very start. The first time I looked on the leaderboards after I'd done my 5:41 time, the first run through of the game, effectively another casual playthrough of the game. Looked on the leaderboard, saw that 2:23:52 and thinking, what if? And yeah, just over a year ago, or a year ago today, it actually happened. That's still something I can't quite get my head around. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was a little fun insight into my wonderful, wonderful mind. If you can't tell the sarcasm in that. But yeah, I just wanted to do something to celebrate this run. The intention of this isn't to be, oh, look at me, I'm the best speedrunner ever, because trust me, I am absolutely not. That's shown by the fact that Dino and Luz are so much better than me. You've got Dino and Luz for Lord of the Rings, the Hamster for Hobbit, you've got Chimkin for 5 through 7. There's so many people that are so much better than me, but I was able to get this run. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let's have a look. Let's go. Yes. New world record. Ah, that's amazing, dude. Oh, that was close towards the end. That was close. Yes.
It's over now.